Okay. Yeah, the kittens are charging around in the other part of the house. So there's a lot of activity, but we're going to do kind of a visualization. We're going to do an octahedron mandala visualization. And we're going to play with this idea of space. So there's a few ways that this could happen. And one is that it moves with you. So as you move off center, your octahedron goes with you. And I think I have one somewhere nearby to actually show you. I do. Okay, so here's an octahedron. Like, it's not a cube. So here's a cube. This is the octahedron. This has 8 sides and this has 6 sides. So the octahedron has 8 sides and 6 points, and the cube has 6 sides and 8 points. How does that even work? But they're both platonic solids, and like they can, if we put the octahedron inside the cube, each point would touch each face, right? So they kind of are these platonic solids that all the faces are even, all the angles are even, all that kind of stuff. And so we can use the up, down, the vertical plane here, the side, the horizontal plane, and the forward, backward, the sagittal plane. You can't really see this octahedron very well, but just to use that idea. So we'll play with the up and the down, the side, and the forward and backward. You can use the room or the actual space as like, oh, this is the vertical, and if I move down, this is still the vertical, or if I go somewhere else, this is still the vertical, or you can take the vertical with you. So we're just going to be playing with it, and you can even shift from one idea to another. There's no big rule about it. I'm going to start seated, and I'm just going to start with breath. You could be laying down, but breathing in this, let's breathe into the length of our body. So breathing into the up downness of our body, breathing into our head tail connection. Yeah, I need to calm down a couple of levels. Coming in for a landing. So if you are seated or if you are standing, this up, down, vertical, we could say that the earth is underneath you and the sky is above you, or it could be this connecting heaven and earth. It's a Qigong exercise with a person in the middle, you in the middle. So feeling into, in your body or in your room, however you want to play with it, what feels like it's above you? What is your relationship to that which is above you? And you could just take a couple of breaths to maybe even just breathe up to the height of yourself. And just offering any imagery that comes in to just come and land in any way. Just opening yourself up to information. And all of this, we can move, we cannot move. You can take it in any way that feels right to you. And in counterpoint to that, let's feel what's below us. So either under your body or under, in that vertical up downness, under us all, the ground, the earth, and feeling down into that. Maybe letting your breath be really low into the bowl of your pelvis, or imagining the breath coming down deep into your body. Connecting in with your bones, the weightedness of your bones. And maybe you have other things that feel like that earth element to you, that other things that you feel are below you in a positive way, not in a, oh, that's below me way, but in a positive way. I'm just breathing into that, what's above and what's below. And it can change. We're not locking into anything here. And if it does feel interesting and you want to move more, feel free to let your arms explore the high space or the low space. Like if you take your arms up, if you open up into that high space, or if you take them down, down below you, what do you notice? Like, how does that feel? But feeling into the upness and the downness. And you could even just reach them one in each direction, one going down, one going up. And if any micro movement wants to come online, go ahead and allow it. If you want to, if laying down, even you could do this on all fours, any way that feels comfortable for you, just to be in your body. Maybe thinking of your whole sort of central channel like a beanstalk or something growing that has lots of dimensionality and lots of possibilities. So it's not just this image of our spines being a column, an architectural structure, but the image of our central channel, like a rhythm, a river. I just said rhythm, but yeah, let's say it's like a rhythm or like a water fountain, or a river, or a tree, or a plant. Anything that knows that up and downness of the gravitational pull of the earth and the sort of lightness and expansiveness of the space above us. Maybe it's the heavens. Maybe it's, Mount Olympus. Whatever imagery you have, just awakening it and attuning to it so that you can tune to these energies around your body and draw on them. So we're just inviting in this relationship. And also, as we're here with this relationship to the above and the below, either just in our bodies or in the space we're in, also really honoring that you yourself are here right now in this moment, in the middle of it all, right? The center point. The miracle of being here right now, alive on the planet in a human body. And you can start to play with the upness and the downness, or the vertical dimension, or the head tail, in any way that feels interesting. And if you feel like you are following a pattern that keeps repeating, then invite in some novelty, invite in something different, right? Invite in another way of exploring. And there are no rules about how you do this. It's just for you. Is there a gentle, soft way to come down? Or is there a really strong, powerful way to go up, even just in your awareness? Just letting us really create this relationship with the up-downness. What is above and what is below? And what kind of roots are reaching down there into the earth, stabilizing you? Or we could also think of what kind of foundation are you coming from? Allowing anything to show up. So I want to play with an opening and closing of the mouth, which if we were going to use vocal cords, it would be like an ah. But I think I'm going to do it without the vocal sound, just to play with the space more. So feeling into that vertical up and downness of my mouth, opening wide, and coming to a more closed position. So I'm just going to play with it so that I can find these ways of opening and closing in the up and downness of my body that feel interesting and fun. And I'm noticing within my own system, sort of the ripples of the movement or the intention as my mouth opens and closes. It's like it gives me more depth. How often are we really allowed to open our mouths wide? And when is it appropriate? Yawning, singing, maybe yelling. Let your face free up. Let the pattern of your face even free up. So you're playing still with that up downness. Letting yourself move into creating inner space. So we're sort of relating to like the interoception, the feeling inside, as well as the exteroception, the feeling outside, as we play with this different capacities for movement. We have so many social relationships to up and down, like, oh, he's a downer, or oh, they're really grounded. I wish I was stable like that. Or I feel inspired and open in wonder. So just letting your body tune to those things. Whatever the body stories are for you. Opening to the imaginal. And also opening to the sensational, right? The sensation in your body. In a kind of, it could be a very abstract way, or it could be a very specific way also. And I'm starting to feel this need to kind of expand into the sideness. So if it feels interesting to you, starting to reach out into the width, into the side with your mind, with your body, with your heart, right? Opening the wings of the heart and feeling into the two sides. Who's at your side? What's at your side? Creating your own relationship with it. Could be, oh, yes, my one friend is over here, and then this other friend is over here, or these collaborators are here, or my community. Or it could be something very different. It could be something that, like, oh, yeah, I like to reach into that world or reach into that world. So just feeling into the width of your body. And we'll do like a big smile, like you're sending your lips out to the edges and your cheeks opening up and then letting them narrow back in. So you can do a he, hi, just letting that open up, either with vocal sound or not. I think I'm just staying out of vocal sound today. Feeling what's happening in those two sides for you. Are you being pulled in one direction or another? Does one side of your body need more support than another? Right? Often we have one side that gets injured more, or one side where things seem to be happening more. So can we, even just in our minds, find some equanimity for both sides? Give our two sides some balance. Letting the cells in your body explore the side movement, or the side imagination. Does it feel good to widen and take up space? Like if you think about even blocking in basketball, right? Kind of sort of block side, maybe blocking up as well. But how is that? Or if we made a circle, holding hands with everybody in our circle, arms reaching out to the sides to include. I think for me, my up and my down are very clear, but my side has more variety, more possibility for different things. And we could also think like with the arms out to the side, like things can lift us up and hold us up, right? What's holding you up? What's picking you up? Supporting your sides. And like as I hold my arms out there, I can really hear the sound of my heart beating, right? the blood flow out to the edges, out to the periphery, out to those fingertips. So feeling into that side-sideness. In the mandala that I did with Michael Taft, on one side, on our left, or sorry, our right side was like our protector. And on our left side was like our heart, or like the heartedness, the loving kindness of things. So do you have a protector on one side and like loving support on another? And for me, my protectors were like Mars, like the chariot. But also like the dragon. Dragons have been really in my realm these last, whatever, few days. So those protective dragons. And then what about that open heart, that loving, kind support? That's through my friendships. Yeah, the people in my room, the people that I learn from. I can let that come into my heart, both the protection and the love from both sides, right? I can accept both of those. And with that protection are some lovely boundaries. And with the heart, there's some expansive openness, right? So we can create a boundary just by crossing, and we can open wide and take things in, right? Crossing in, holding ourselves together, creating this boundary. We're opening right out. So here we are in the middle again of these two sides, which I could just imagine a point on one side and a point on the other. Protection and love.
I don't have to imagine, because I have Sunny on my right and I have you on my left, and it just happened that way. So I
That's
have Sunny,
awesome.
the protecting dog. I have Laura, the loving teacher. It's just the way it happened.
That's awesome. Perfect. Ah, awesome. Yeah, feeling into that, allowing ourselves to really enjoy the feeling of love, enjoy the feeling of being protected, and enjoy those feelings of connection. You know, we can take ourself into the equation, right? It's not just about the other stuff outside, it's all happening in here. So feeling that gratitude for that, yummy. And then let's take it, you can stay with, if any of these points are really potent for you, feel free to stay there or keep working with them. But I'm going to add in the front back. So we'd have a point right in front of us and a point right behind us. And the front are in Michael's version, were all the people pulling us forward, all of the teachers, all of the things even maybe in the future that we don't know yet. Like that could be what's pulling us forward. And then the things in the back, it's the past, it's all the ancestors who've got our back. And it doesn't even have to be people we know. It could be the lineage of your spiritual practice, of your education, of anything, anything you want and love and feel connected to, or anything that gives you that sensation of, yes, that's it. Or maybe it's that. That's another way of understanding it. Like, I just had a little, inclination that this thing is really important and it's back there supporting my movement forward in the world. So feeling into that front space and the back space, who's holding your hand, drawing you forward, or even what? It could be the inspiration to do things, my drive, my decision-making, my will. With all the ancestors, the family that's blood lineage, and then the family that are the people that we just include in our family. But knowing that in our mandala, all of those are the ones you choose. It doesn't have to be, oh, there's Uncle Sammy, who is a horrible person. He doesn't have to be back there for you. Let him go. Let him be somewhere else. Just the lineage that you feel supports you. So tuning into that in the back space. And let's move a little bit forward and backward, feeling into that. It could just be a cat-cow arching and curling, right? Letting our back move into the back space, front move into front space, or it could be with your hands. just feeling into it. So when we bring it into movement, when we start to make it real in our body, it lands in a new way in our minds, right? When we take it into movement, suddenly we're reshuffling the deck of cards. We're giving ourselves more possibility to understand on levels that aren't just thinking, that are really embodied. So that it's like, oh yeah, I can feel that. We start to have a relationship with that. Oh, that just the space itself pulls me forward, right? The space itself holds me up in the back. The space itself is my best friend on both sides, above me and below. So for me, I love space. It just makes so much sense and I can feel it because I've spent a lot of time with it. We are good friends and lovers. So when we start to build up, and you can go into any of the spaces, let yourself just relate in whatever way feels good. And sometimes if we aren't accustomed to doing that, it can be like, oh my God, it's scary. That's called growth, right? That's called neuroplasticity. That's when change starts to happen, is when we go, well, but maybe I'm still okay. Maybe I'm still okay. Maybe I'm still okay. Maybe I'm still okay. Oh yeah, it's okay. Just letting yourself take your baby steps, one step at a time, to move forward or to back up, but starting to bring these places into our, I don't want to say memory palace and I don't want to say kinesphere, but into our reality so that they have potency, so that there is, oh, I need to ground myself. Let me just come down, right? Let me feel the earth. Let me feel gravity. Let me feel my bones. Let me land in that. Or I need to be inspired, then let me just upregulate with some high breaths into the wonder of being in the world. Look at that. Think about little kids reaching up to their parents to be picked up. I want some, right? That, let me, or the little kids who want it, pick me, right? Arm going up, right? So there's that excitement and that energy in that place high. And then gathering in your tribe, whatever that means. Yes, we have this idea in Laban work called gathering and scattering. So you can gather. Oh, got too much? Scatter some of it out. Let some of it go, right? Which happens in the horizontal plane. So here's our horizontal dimension, just the side in the octahedron. But if we make it into the whole plane, we add some front back. That's a really also supportive place to start to relate to, right? What happens in the horizontal plane? I look around, I see that things are safe, and my brainstem learns, oh, it's okay. You're safe. You can downregulate a little bit. I got my protector and I got my heart. And maybe it's totally different things for you. Maybe the protector is on the left and the heart is on the right. It could be either way. And if you're Christian, you can throw in all the archangels, right? You can throw in the directions. All of it is just a means of relating to being a human on the planet. So I'm going to take my whole thing and throw it off of the axis of being up and down. And I'm going to take the whole thing with me. So my up down is going to be my head to tail, my side will be side, my sagittal will be forward, backward, but I'll be on the floor, and I'm going to share music. So feel free to let yourself, maybe you need to recuperate from all these ideas. So let yourself be gooey or really lean into the ideas if they're meaning something to you. Any way is totally acceptable, however it feels good to you. I'm going to use that. Michael knows this music, the unformed. Letting yourself relate to space in any way. Forming your own mandala, the space around you, and putting whatever you want into it. let the organism of your body and the intelligence of your body just process all that information in any way that feels good. You could even imagine that your octahedron has sort of filled out to really become a sphere, and like let yourself move like you're in the, like you're the nucleus inside this uh, cell, right? Inside this fluid cell. And if we then stretch it into a shape, we can form this octahedron in there, but we can also just move in any way that feels good with that. Total freedom. Letting yourself dance or be in stillness, whatever feels good to you. taking a few minutes to just keep exploring without any music, or letting yourself come into stillness to digest, or not, really, whatever feels right to you. So many of us are trained not to move, and then so many of us are trained to move. And usually, if you're a mover, it's hard to be still. And if you don't consider yourself so much a mover, it might be hard to galvanize into movement. So inviting in whatever feels good to you at any time with that. And just letting the sort of elements wash through you and over you with that. Sometimes that's an easier way to get into movement. And it also doesn't have to be that any big realizations or revelations or anything comes online. It can be really just like going for a swim. It doesn't have to be a big deal, but it might be a big deal. Yeah, I just want to add one thing that was really interesting for me when I was moving bigger. I noticed I was going into the forward, backward, the sagittal, which in the Laban work is really associated with time. But I wasn't thinking that, but I just started slowing down. Then I was like, oh, I'm in the sagittal. And I just started slowing down to go forward. That's so interesting. So it may or may not be that you ever notice any of that stuff, but just seeing how things might change in different places. Like, oh, I want to go up in a certain way. I want to come down in another way. What are the sort of the flavor pulls for your movement or your stillness? Like, I can really settle into stillness if I imagine that I'm just air, or I can really settle into stillness if I imagine I'm a mountain. So inviting in that imaginal realm to help play with our experience. Yeah, so for me, sometimes when I do really slow down, calm down, and come in, which is getting easier and easier. There's some real juiciness in that. I'm going to stop recording and have a sharing and caring moment.